evening, Mr. Potter.
Harry Potter encounters many monsters on his travels, but few are as unpleasant as Professor Dolores Umbridge.
You're going to be doing some lines for me today, Mr. Potter. No, not with your quill. Going to be using a rather special one of mine.
It's so brilliant because it's so sinister. Just the most evil that you could possibly imagine.
I want you to write, I must not tell lies.
It is so evil and so nasty, this really evil woman. And because she does everything with a smile, she's even more sort of perverse and twisted and unpleasant. And actually, I mean, scary, because you don't know what she's capable of.
You deserve to be punished. Don't you, Mr. Potter?
The Harry Potter movies are well known for pushing the limits of CGI technology. This sequence lasts just seconds on film, but took over a year to create, and so earns its place inside the top 30.
You remember the conditions on which I brought you with me? This potion might paralyze me.
Why can't I drink it, sir?
Because I'm much older.
The scene where Harry has to kind of essentially poison his father figure was one of the hardest scenes to do.
You are not to indulge these requests. It's your job, Harry, to make sure I keep drinking this potion.
He's so scared and he's crying out, and I think that's probably one of the scariest moments emotionally.
You have to keep drinking, like you said, remember?
What is amazing about that scene, actually, is Harry Potter as the character, his resilience to keep Dumbledore drinking it. Because you'd think you'd give in, you know, but he doesn't.
Stop. It will stop, Professor, it will stop. But only if you keep drinking.
Don't make me.
I'm sorry, sir.
Kill me!
No,
It's horrific. I mean, it's really horrific.
please.
All right, Granger, as discussed.
Polyjuice Potion allows the drinker to take on the form of someone else. It's a delightful concoction, reportedly made from stewed lacewing flies and unsucculated leeches, whatever they are.
For those of you who haven't taken Polyjuice Potion before, fair warning, it tastes like goblin.
Just for the sheer complexity and how hard it must have been to have got it all together, it has to be the Seven Harrys. For me, it's just so clever that when they take the drink and suddenly they morph into these Harrys, I just think is a brilliant scene.
It was great fun, to be honest.
Wow, we're identical.
My impressions of Rupert and Emma were probably the easiest that I had to do.
Harry, your eyesight really is awful.
It's testament to Dan's acting ability that you can tell each individual character there.
I did almost.
Despite they all look the same.
I haven't got anything a bit more sporting, have you?
Didn't you do almost 200 takes?
Yeah,
doing that in total.
A lot of takes.
So, yeah, fair play.
Mundungus Fletcher was quite easy because Andy is quite distinctive.
Strip.
All right.
I would have the actual actors he was playing alongside me at the monitor. Fleur, for example. And we'd watch Dan do a take playing Fleur, and then Dan would come over to the monitor, and we'd discuss if Dan was feminine enough, if he was holding the bra in the right way, for example.
Bill, look away. I'm hideous.
And spookily enough, Dan actually really liked playing Clemence.
As for Harry.
Yes?
The real Harry. Where the devil are you, anyway?
Here.
Now it's time for a story. About a story. within a story, if you follow me.
There were once 3 brothers who were travelling along a lonely, winding road at twilight.
I was so thrilled that I got to read it.
The 3 brothers simply waved their wands and made a bridge.
I had to do quite a few takes just because trying to get the rhythm right with the animation was quite tricky.
Before they could cross, however, they found their path blocked by a hooded figure.
I thought the animation was really beautiful, so that was a really sort of nice perk for me.
He then greeted death as an old friend and went with him gladly, departing this life as equals.
It's a chessboard.
Everything in the world of Harry Potter has a magical and often dangerous twist. Even a straightforward board game can become a matter of life and death.
See, I love wizard chess. I think this is the only time, if I had to go into battle, I'd go, I'll have Ron.
All right. Harry, you take the empty bishop square. Hermione, you'll be the queenside castle. And as for me, I'll be a knight.
Not only is it very gripping, quite frightening and very threatening, very dangerous, because when your piece gets taken, that piece gets killed. But also, it allows our Ron Weasley, who so far has been a bit of baggage, he's been a hanger-on, he's been a bit dopey, he's screamed a lot, he's gurned a lot, he's been a nuisance. Suddenly, he comes good.
Once I make my move, the Queen will take me. Then you're free to check the King.
No. Ron, no! What is it? He's going to sacrifice himself. No, you can't! There must be another way!
It was really a really cool scene, actually, because it was kind of Ron's first moment, really, where he kind of shows kind of a bit of bravery and a kind of a lot of kind of support for Harry.
Ron is there, taking control of this moment. It's thumbs up to Ron. We love Ron.
Well, it's checkmate for Ron, but it's not game over for our countdown. Stay tuned for more spellbinding Potter moments.
Well, we both had wand arm. At the end of it, we both had to see a physio. We'd been wanding all day. It wasn't just us, all the men were suffering from this.
Magic moments when two hearts are connected.
Watching 3 child actors grow up on screen has been a genuinely unique experience. Prophetic casting has seen all 3 of them become superstars.
Dan, Emma and Rupert, we've seen them as small kids to young adults. You know, they've been in these films for half of their lives, essentially.
Do you think we'll ever just have a quiet year at Hogwarts?
No.
Dan, Rupert and Emma were terrific. You know, from the very first down, the very first film, all the way through. They were probably amongst the most professional of the actors on set. They always knew their lines, so focused.
It's locked! That's it. We're done for.
Move over!
Daniel, in particular, is so driven as well. He has this way about him, this passion.
Help me!
Dan had the hardest job of all because Harry on the page is the most difficult, the most nebulous character. He's just been perfect, I think.
Shush.
Rupert's just a genius. I don't think anyone ever needed to tell Rupert how to play Ron. He just has known all the way through. And what was remarkable about Rupert was that obviously comedically he's just spot on. You couldn't teach that.
I think he's got a bit more than friendship on his mind.
Emma, she is stunningly beautiful. She genuinely is very bright, you know, she's very articulate. She's everything you would need to be to play Hermione properly.
Victor's more of a physical being. I just mean he's not particularly loquacious.
They are the only 3 people that will know what it's been like to have been involved from day one, to be part of the biggest grossing franchise of all time. Those 3 between them, that's a bond that they will have forever.
Perfect. They're perfect. I can't say anything. I can't anything else. I think I love them, as you can probably tell.
Yeah? What could be more straightforward than a visit to the local wand shop? Sorry, for Harry Potter, nothing is ever easy.
Give it a wave. Apparently not.
The provenance of the wands is further, maybe the ultimate testimony to the genius of Joe Rowling's storytelling. That when do you ever have your good guy and bad guy going at it with weapons, the ownership of which, and the minds of which, and the hearts of which are key to how the thing will resolve itself.
It is curious that you should be destined for this wand when its brother gave you that scar.
And who owned that wand?
We do not speak his name.
This being the world of magic, all Harry needs to do to breathe underwater is swallow a clump of magical gillyweed and he's swimming like a fish. But in real life, things weren't quite that simple.
3, 2, 1, breather out.
When they created the tank for them to swim in.
And action.
He was in there for 48 hours. For heaven's sake, the commitment from him just to create that moment on screen it was incredible.
It was a very surreal sequence, and again, it's one of those moments that you go, I'll never probably get to do something like this ever again in my career.
Shark! Hit!
The underwater sequences was so huge on that film. Very few films have stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, that was it was a hard scene to shoot, but immensely rewarding.
Cut there.
It's set up like a sort of adult drama. You know, there's graffiti on the wall, it's dank, it's dark, there's water dripping, there's puddles on the ground, and suddenly you start to see Harry's breath.
Here, the Dementors are back, but in a newly terrifying way.
Dudley, run!
We decided jointly that the Dementors should have a little bit more of a physical presence. Rather than being more spectral, they should actually have a physical quality to them. And that was great fun, because it really brought them into our world, if you like, and made them even more scary.
They made the Dementors. The Dementors aren't completely CGI. You could walk into Leavesden Studios and find racks of these horrible, spooky chamber of horrors-y objects dangling there, part puppet and part model. Yeah, they are terrifying. They're horrible.
Go patrol!